Hi, VIP people. How you doing? This is Teacher Tiara here, and I'm just coming on once again to give you guys my 2-week update. Okay, so technically, let's get into the numbers part. Technically, this is not 2 weeks. Technically, this is my 19 days. I have a little notepad at the bottom just to let y'all know. I got mommy brain. I need to make sure that I remember things. But anyway, so I have 19 days. But out of those 19 days, the first 5 days I wasn't working because they actually received all my paperwork on Thanksgiving Day. And so that's the day that they said my contract started, but they didn't process my stuff until that following Monday, which was about 5 days. So anyway, so I've been working with VIPKid for 19 days. In those 19 days, I've had 13 classes booked. Yeah, I know. Out of 13 classes, I've taught 8 classes, and 5 of those classes were student no-shows where they booked it and then they didn't show up. Okay, so a little bit about my experience since I've been with VIPKid. Well, I will say that totaling all the hours that I worked, teaching 8 classes, that means I worked 4 hours because each class is only 30 minutes long. So, 25 minutes long. So if you take all those classes and you divide them by 2, then you get 4 hours. 4 hours is basically how much I've worked, and I've earned $100 so far in 4 hours, which I personally think is really cool because at my previous job, within that same time frame of working 4 hours, I would have only earned $60. So for me, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. So anyway, going back to VIPKid, my experiences. So since I've been working, my experience has been loving the classes. I love teaching the students. I enjoy actually waking up and getting myself together and working with the students, because when they get it and they show you that they understand it, it's so much fun. And then part of the challenge is making sure that you are doing a very awesome job at helping them to understand what's happening, helping them to understand what you want from them. You know, what are you expecting from this exercise? What do you need them to, what information do you need them to learn, retain, and then regurgitate? So it's really fun working with the kids. Ages, I've worked with ages from 4 on up to I think about 8 years old. I have had a little bit, and I will say this, I don't know if it's a cultural thing or if it's just, a kid thing. The female students seem to be a little bit more engaged in the process than the male students. I've had some classes where a lot of my male students will just kind of be all over the place. And I understand they've been in school all day, they've been up, they're only like 7. It's kind of like a long work day for a kid. They haven't had a drink, like, you know what I'm saying? But I noticed that the girls are more focused and that they had seemed to be more alert when it comes to teaching the lessons and learning the lessons and paying attention throughout the entire lesson. I also noticed that the girls seem to be advancing a little bit more, or much more quickly, I guess I should say. Maybe that's because they take the initial process of VIPKid, and then during that initial process, they are placed at a lower level because they're maybe shy. But then when you get them and you see what they can actually do, it's like, oh, wow, you're actually more advanced than this lesson is trying to teach. So you need to actually go up a bit. Whereas the boys are usually right where they're supposed to be. Or I had one student that needed to go a little bit below because he was actually not understanding the simple tasks, classroom tasks like circle, letter A. He wasn't comprehending. He was just like, no, I don't get it. So that was one thing that I was noticing. And that's just my experience. That may not be your experience. It may not be any other teacher's experience. It's just been my experience. I've had more male students than I've had female students, but when I do get a female student, it seems as though the female students are a little bit different than the male students. They behave differently. they interact with the lesson a little bit differently as well. All right, so that's that. Getting up in the morning. Okay, many of you know, many of you don't. I'm 8 months pregnant. That's been a challenge because um I don't want to be that person that is like, oh, I'm pregnant, so I'm going to cancel my class at the last minute. Like, that's so unprofessional, because just because I'm pregnant doesn't mean that I get a handicap to say, oh, I don't feel like showing up today. That's not cool, especially when a lot of these people are taking time out of their day to show up to see if this is something that could help their student or their child to advance. So my earliest class so far has been 3:30 a.m. Luckily for me, they canceled. So I didn't have to attend that one, but I have had 4 a.m.s, which wasn't so bad because I'm used to waking up at 4 a.m. for when I had a brick and mortar job. So that's not hard for me. Like, I would be up at 4, be done by 5, be, out the door and driving to work in the pitch black darkness. So that for me wasn't a problem. Working the morning hours when you have back-to-back classes, not a problem either. Only thing I would say is get your coffee, get your water, and then make sure you have a quick snack on the side, because sometimes you can't get up in between classes. And so I noticed that, like, snacking for me was good. It may be just because I'm pregnant. It could be just good for me to just, sitting down for an hour, you kind of get that extra energy. Not a big meal, but just a quick protein bar or something is good for me. Okay, so certifications. All right, so initially I started off in the teacher kickoff program, and what that was basically I did my interview, okay, and then they sent me on to my mock one. I did terribly on my mock one, so because I did semi good and semi bad, she said that there were some areas that I needed to improve in, but a lot of areas that I excelled in. They offered me either you take the mock 2 or you go ahead and do the teacher kickoff. I chose the teacher kickoff, which was basically an hour-long session with a VIPKid teacher, where I got to ask questions. She went through a PPT or a PowerPoint with us, and we got to ask questions. We got to kind of see how things were done. What was the expectation for teaching this particular level? How was the teacher supposed to interact with the student? And giving us some tips on how to engage the student a little bit more in order to help us to go to the next level. So after that point, after the hour long session, you go ahead and you do 5 trial classes, and then they review your 5 trial classes. Once they review your classes, they can tell you whether or not they want to offer you a position permanently, or if they don't think that you would do well within the company. They offer me a position. I signed my contract. I did my 5 classes. My 5th class was done on the 4th of December after starting the week before. But my schedule was pretty much good that week. So what ended up happening was on the 6th, which was like a Wednesday, I have a calendar, that's what I'm looking at on the wall. On the 6th, which was a Wednesday, they actually stopped booking me so rapidly for trials. Whereas previously I had, several classes, like 2 classes a day, a class a day, whatever. They stopped booking me so much because I had already reached what I needed. The rest is just fluff for the trial classes. So I scheduled the level 2 workshop that I needed to attend, because with my contract, you have to do the 5 trial classes. Once you finish them, they review. Then they go ahead and tell you to schedule a level 2 workshop to see if you can go up to the next level. You schedule a level 2 workshop. Once you schedule that, you sit for about an hour. After your hour of sitting and talking, same process as the teacher kickoff. After your hour of sitting and talking, then you go ahead and you take a quiz and you do a demo, a 10-minute demo. Same thing for level 3 certification. difference between reaching level 2 and level 3 certification is once I hit level 2 certification and I'm certified as a teacher to teach trial classes in level 2, I no longer have to do a minimum of certain amount of classes within that particular level in order to um, progress. I can just go ahead and say, hey, listen, I want to take the next workshop for this level. I want to go ahead and go through it. And then I take the demo, and then I do the quiz. And then if I pass, then I go on to the next level and I'm certified to teach those students as well. So once I hit level 2 and I finish and complete it successfully, then the following levels is just go to the workshop, do the 10-minute demo, and then go ahead and take the quiz. And that's it. My thoughts. Okay, so I've had a very good experience teaching students. I've had a very good experience. This video is getting pretty long. I've had a good experience teaching the students. I've had a very good experience interacting, even with parents. I've had some parents on there, and it's been cool. But I personally feel that this is a much slower process than doing Mach 1 than Mach 2. And when you do Mach 2, you're just certified openly from levels 2 through 5 in all trial classes. And the way I have to do mine is I had to be certified for trial classes. That's initially what I was certified for, like automatically. And then I had to prove that I was ready for level 2, and then prove that I'm ready for level 3, and then prove that I'm ready for 4 and 5. Do you understand? So instead of taking that second mock class, which was the one, demo or the one interview that I would have to do, I actually have to take a quiz and do a demo for each level following. Now that is what I was told as of right now, and today is the 11th of December. And that is the process that I'm going through. And I find it to be a little bit tedious. I find it to be one of those situations where, okay, so you're telling me that you told me this would be easier, but in fact, it's not easier. It's just a longer training process. And then the Mach 2, I could have either gotten hired or fired based off of how I hired or not hired based off of how I did on the Mach 2. So for me, it's kind of like, okay, well, this is an experience. I understand, and it is what it is. But it's kind of like I took the long way around. Instead of saying, okay, here's part 1, you successfully passed it. Now go do part 2. If you successfully passed that, then you're hired on. We'll offer you a contract based on how you did. Or we won't, and then you just have to wait the 3 months and reapply. I had to take the long way around, or I chose to take it. So you do Mach 1. Okay, you did okay. Let's see, how you do with these 5 trial classes. So you're in the live class. Okay, that's awesome. So let's see how you do with level 2 students. Okay, that's great. Now let's see how it's kind of like a never ending interview process because you're still doing this. So it's like I have to work for my certifications versus being automatically certified to teach once I came on because I chose the teacher kickoff. I've learned a lot of information. I've gleaned a lot of things about my own teaching style and ways to improve, how to cut down and kind of let some stuff go that was unnecessary. And I've even recognized that, stuff just as simple as a background, a couple things can liven up a playroom. I enjoyed the job. I didn't enjoy the teacher kickoff version because they didn't give us that information in the beginning. Had they given us all the information of the entire process, versus here's step 1 completed and you'll know step 2 afterwards, I think I would have probably chosen something different. However, I've been learning a lot. I still like the job. I am actually currently working on my level 2 certification, so I'll be doing that this evening. And I've already taken the workshop for level 3, so I'll be doing that this evening as well. and I hopefully get certified. So if you guys want to know another update, I'll be doing these every 2 weeks. Just keep coming back and seeing how things go. I will be having a baby in about 3 weeks, so I will be taking a pause, but after that, I'll be right back on it. So hope to see you guys back here. All right.